字的问题有可能是有个文法关系，有可能有个意思关系，有可能是这是哪里来的问题。这是第一个，是都有。First question is about the grammar. What kind of word is it? 如果你要讨论一个字的问题，一定要了解它是什么字。So, first, 形容词、名词、动词，它是什么字？One thing about English, don't forget, is that we have parts of words that tell us how to use the word, right? If a word ends with I-O-N, it's a noun. If it has A-B-L-E, it's an adjective, right? Usually. So tactile. 是什么字？你们知道吗？是形容词。有时候形容词变成名词。You do the same thing in Chinese, where one kind of word becomes a different kind of word. But in English, this happens a lot with adjectives. In this case, though, this is just an adjective. All right? Now, we're talking about using crayons, like coloring pencils. It's from an article about adults using coloring pencils and how it makes them feel. So, part of the question, we need context. I'll just borrow this and thanks. So it's just this article here, and it's about grown-ups, adults, using crayons, coloring pencils, okay? So, if we're talking about adults,大人, playing with coloring pencils, well, unless you have small children, why would you, right? Do you guys like to just play with pens? Do you just draw things for fun? If you're an art student, then probably yes. But if you're not an art student, maybe you don't play with coloring a lot. Okay? When you have young children, you do it with them. But what about for an adult, just to do it for themselves? If I have free time, I don't play with colors. I mean, if I have free time, I read. If I want to play, maybe I play on the computer or with my family, right? Why would I play with this? What do you think the reason could be? If I want to draw something pretty, I could draw it on the computer. Why do I want to use these? How is it different? Yeah, use your hands, right? Your hands are not just for picking things up, use them for touching, right? And a very important part of how we live is touch. If you can't touch anything, then you feel isolated. So, this is just the word touch. It's the Latin word for touching. So whenever you talk about something being tactile, it has to do with you being able to touch it. Now we have other words that come from that. Tangible is another one. It means touchable, something that can be touched. So if something is tangible, it's real, you can feel it. We talk about ideas or things. When we talk about nouns, for example, a noun, 名词，有可能是可以摸的, right? A book is tangible, but when we talk about something like an idea, 一个想法，是不可以摸的, you can't touch it, right? It's intangible. So, tactile refers to touch. We do have a few other words related to that. Like, for example,
contact.
right? Just like with this idea here, con,
All together.
together, right? So if you have contact with somebody, this is not true contact, right? Contacts on Facebook are not contacts. Contact is when you can actually touch somebody, okay? That's what the word means. So, tactile from that idea. You'll see it in a few other places, all right? Now, because of how Latin works, 不一定会说每一次有 TACT 一定是有跟它有关系，不是这样子， all right? Because we have other words that maybe start with this, and then we have an ending, 有可能, right? But if you have to guess, this is a good place to start. Respite. This one, I'm going to have to look that one up briefly, because I remember coming across it before, but it's been a while since I looked it up. Just give me one moment.
So you agree it is a difficult word?
No, it's a common enough word, I just can't promise you where it comes from. It just means rest.
Rest.
Yeah. I think it's related to the spit you have in like hospital, that hospice, that's, but I'm gonna have to check that one. In case you're wondering, this is a book, it's like a dictionary, but it tells me where words come from. So,
The original of the words.
yeah.
Not the origin, the origin.
Yeah, it has to do with a delay. So the idea of a rest is kind of correct, but more that it's related actually to respect. And it comes from the idea that if you are going to see a judge, if you did something wrong, or somebody says you did something wrong, like playing with your phone, right? Then if somebody is going to be angry with you and you're going to get in trouble, but out of respect, that person waits a little bit. They give you a chance to explain. They give you a chance to give a reason or an excuse. That's a respite. So it's like the idea of a rest, but we see it often in court when there's a break or something before the sentence is carried out, or after part of the sentence has been carried out, there's a brief break or a delay. So in this case here, that helps us to understand the sentence. All right? So if you see the rest of what it says here, Adults like playing with these because you have this tactile and interactive nature. Interactive means you use it and it uses you, right? You work together with the thing that you're touching. Nature of the books, which offer respite. They give you a break, a rest, a reprieve from the screen weary. Okay? What do you think this means? Screen weary.
Means tired of screen.
Yeah. The thing is, people think these make you feel better, they're easy to use, right? You don't get tired because you use this all the time. It's not true. If you're always using this, you get more tired. Your eyes get more tired, right? Everybody who's wearing glasses in Taiwan, a large part of that is because when you're young, your parents just gave you these to shut you up. Right? So don't do that to your kids. When you have children, don't let them touch these. Children will grow up perfectly fine without a cell phone. My kids don't have cell phone. My son is in junior high school. He doesn't need a cell phone. Okay.
Does he hate you?
No.
Really?
He understands.
Oh, okay.
I mean, everyone in his class has a cell phone,
Yeah.
except my son. But he understands the reason why, and he's happy about it. I mean,
Did he suffer from peer pressure?
no,
That's good.
no. I mean, if people laugh at you because you don't have a phone, well, laugh back at them. They're ruining their brains, right? So if people laugh at you because you don't have a phone, it's like saying, ha, you're smarter than me. You know, what is there to laugh at? So, don't give these to your children. 很重要的. Okay? Anyways, back to the sentence. 所以这个句子你们差不多了解吗？有字有问题吗？
Oh, by the way, when I checked the word respite in the dictionary said it means relief or,
Yeah.
or relief. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's another good word for it. Relief, reprieve. Relief can also refer to pressure.
Oh, okay.
That one is from the idea of lifting away. So if you take away the pressure of something.
Rest.
Yeah. So, but those two aren't directly related.
Okay.
So, but they can be used for similar things. But that's a good synonym. Okay? All right, everybody read the second sentence for me. This one, the words are more common, so 一起念, to
convince them.
一起念 that
It was a rival market. She drew 5 sample pages of illustrations. The publishers were sold.
Okay? And this is why it can be very difficult to understand a sentence when you don't know the rest of it. Without a context, the publishers were sold. Who bought the publishers? Right? How do you sell a publisher? You can sell the books they publish. Is it the company that was sold? Or are these people in trouble because now they are slaves? They've been sold, right? So we have problems like this. 中文也有，要去洗手间，洗手间，还有人写了洗手间，为什么要去洗手间？是因为要洗手吗？ Yeah, but everybody says 洗手间，为什么？ It's so confusing. If you want to go to the bathroom, just say you need to go to the bathroom. But even in English, it's a bathroom. Do you take a bath there? Right? So, it's part of every language. Every language does this, where there are some things, sometimes we don't want to talk about it. Death is a big one. We hate saying, he died. So we say, he moved on. He lives in a happier place. He is no longer with us. He is sleeping. We have 100 ways to say, he died. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's so that we don't have to feel bad, but every language does this. So, when we do something like this, we sometimes just have to ask, do they mean this literally? 是这个它的意思吗? It's exactly sell? Or does sell here mean something more, something different? So, convince,
Persuade.
persuade, right? To make somebody believe. So,